Hey folks, Alan Mandic, the Hot Rod Hippie here, coming to you with more SEMA 2019 content. In this one, we're going to check out more tools. I've got more new tools that I saw at SEMA I want to show to you folks, so let's check it out.
SEMA 2019 coverage is brought to you by the fine folks at Trick Tools, high-performance tools for fabricators, and home of the no-junk guarantee. SEMA coverage is also brought to you by the folks at Sunx Tools, high-quality hand tools, shop equipment, and tool storage options at affordable prices. Links in the description down below.
As I always do at the SEMA show, I was on the lookout for new tools, things I could show you folks, and I did find a handful of things, though overall I was a little bit disappointed in the new offerings that I found on display. I do have more coming for you after this video, so there's yet some more to come, but let's get right into the items on this list. First off, I stopped by the ScanGrip booth. I stopped by there last year at SEMA 2018. I did a dedicated video about their UV curing lights and their color matching lights. The only item they had new this year was actually a really simple little accessory for those color match lights. And it's actually a little diffuser dome that goes over the light. The idea here is it actually diffuses the light to create a softer light source. A lot of folks in the body and detail industry can know that on a nice cloudy day, if you put a car outside, it's a little overcast, it's actually easier to see all the details of that car, the highs, the lows, ripples in the paint, things like that. So softer light is definitely key in that. So this actually turns your color match light into a softer light source. Much like the studio lights that I use, they create a softer, less harsh light. That harsh light can kind of hide things sometimes. And these come in a couple different sizes, and you can actually see their little demonstration here. That panel is lit up by one of these diffused light sources. I don't have pricing on this, unfortunately. I didn't get it from them at the time, and then the product is not yet available. So if you're interested in this, if you have some ScanGrip lights, hit up your supplier where you got that from, or contact ScanGrip directly. Now moving on to one of my favorite hand tool companies, the folks over at Nipx Tools, or Nipx. People say this all kinds of different ways. I say Nipx, I'm going to stick with that. They had a pair of compact cable shears. Now these are strong little shears. They're compact design at just 6.5 inches long to fit into tighter locations, and they're really good for cutting smaller cable situations. So you can use these to cut copper cables and steel cables. You can see here cutting a little steel cable there. This would be excellent for maybe custom throttle cables or the low car cables that I have to shorten once in a while. I could see these being pretty handy for that. They are really strong. It doesn't require that much effort to even cut this steel cable. They're capable of cutting up to 4mm steel cable, which is a little over 1/8 of an inch thick, or up to 6mm copper cable, so around 3-gauge battery cable size. They quoted me about $38 MSRP on this, but the best price I was able to find online was on eBay, coming out of Germany, so it's gonna take a little bit on the shipping there, but they were going for $41.85. Other US retailers all seem to be around the $60 mark, so see where you can pick these up. Seems to be a little bit of an import price premium depending on where you get them. Moving on, I stopped by one of my favorite companies, the Mittler Brothers booth. Mittler Brothers had on display, of course, one of their chassis with the hydro shocks. I did a whole dedicated video talking about that last year. What I was checking out most was their handheld shrinker stretcher setup. I've done a dedicated video about the shrinker stretcher and how vital that tool can be to the metal shaping world. Well, they have handheld versions here. The handheld versions allow you to work on different thicknesses of material right on a panel, right on the vehicle even. So if you have a car that maybe has a little bit of a stretch in a wheel arch opening, that flange is just a little stretched out, rather than having to cut it and relieve it or replace that section, you may be able to use one of these handheld setups and actually shrink or stretch it as you need to move that panel around. Personally, I could find this quite useful because there's sometimes I've worked on like a 55 Chevy quarter panel where I needed to do a little shrink or a little stretch on a portion of it to get it just the right shape, just the way I wanted it to be. A handheld setup would allow me to set this piece onto the bench and use just the tool to go ahead and work that panel. Now there are two designs of these. You got the Lancaster style one, uses the standard Lancaster style shrink and stretch jaws. That comes with both sets of jaws for that handheld setup, and it's going for $675 US. Now that works on 18-gauge aluminum or 20-gauge steel with that set. The second design is the JS Tool style. The JS Tool style uses the oval jaw design that JS Tool shrinker stretchers use, and it's an overall heavier duty design. It's beefed up in various locations to make it a stronger design to work with a stronger jaw set. That means that this one will work on 16-gauge aluminum or 18-gauge steel. This is $9.95 and does not come with a jaw set. If you're familiar with JS tools, the jaws can run about $900 themselves, so you're gonna have to pick those up separately to go with this little shrinker stretcher setup. Now, the Massachusetts-based company Mayhew Tools, the thing that absolutely caught my eye the most was something new because they acquired a new company. They acquired a company out of Florida called Bestway Tools. Bestway makes a lot of various little things, little hex bits and things like that, and that's what caught my eye. They had a tool that I've owned for almost a decade now on display that I really love these things. And I've been meaning to tell you folks about these for quite some time. So the fact that Mayhew has them as a new product just gives me a great excuse. These are 1/4-inch drive, compact, stubby, one-piece hex sockets, Torx sockets, and Phillips sockets. What they are is a compact, stubby little design to fit in tighter locations, but they have a 1/4-inch drive design on the back of them, so you can use them with a 1/4-inch ratchet or breaker bar. Personally, these are my go-to hex sockets. I've had them from Matco Tools for about almost 10 years now, and I love them. The reason that they're gold in color is they're actually titanium nitride coated. That gives them a stronger design, so they're less likely to twist. The titanium is just a thin coating on there to just add a little rigidity, a little strength to the overall design of these. Unfortunately, I didn't get pricing on them from them. I've contacted them. They didn't quite get back to me in time for this video. So if I have any updated information, I'll throw that in the comments down below for you. I know Matco sells these, and the set that I have from Matco, the standard and metric sets, weren't nearly as complete, nearly as many items in them, as many sizes as these ones that Mayhew had on display. So I'm really interested in checking out what the full set could do. I would love to get all of these for my toolbox. For you folks working in smaller shop spaces, I have something from the folks at CRC. CRC had on display their new Smart Washer Benchtop Pro parts washer. Now the idea here is this is a compact reservoir included parts washer design. You can fold this thing up, close it up, stick it underneath of a workbench into the corner of a shop, and it won't take up nearly as much room as your traditional parts washer would, especially being on top of a 50-gallon drum of nasty chemicals in the corner of your shop. When you're ready to use the smart washer, all you need to do is pull it out from under the bench or wherever you have it stored, set it on the workbench, flip the top open. It's actually got a little kickstand on the top lid. You can either prep parts there or set them there to drain back into the main reservoir. They do recommend using this with a green kind of bio microbe included parts washer fluid that actually breaks things down to be a much greener, a much cleaner overall design. But I did specifically ask, if you go to the parts store, you buy some random parts washer fluid, it will work in this thing. You don't have to worry about that. So if you don't want to spend the money for the better quality stuff, it's going to be better for the environment, you don't have to use this thing. Price on this thing on Amazon right now is going for $394.77, though I did find it on eBay. I only found one of them listed on eBay for $349 with free shipping. I'm gonna throw links in the description down below to both of those, so I don't know how many that eBay seller has, if they only have the one, or what the deal is there. They don't have multiple listed, so that's up to you where you're gonna pick it up from if you're interested. Last and, well, least, you'll see in a second what I'm talking about, is the folks at Master Eyre Industrial Tools. Well, they make tiny tools, compact little Eyre tools, fit in tight little locations with these compact tools. They have a range of tools from right angle grinders, right angle sanders, buffers, air saws, drills, straight line drills, right angle drill, impact guns, air ratchets. There's a lot going on here. I could dedicate a video to this company. The main reason that I'm not is just name recognition. I don't know this company. I have not personally worked with them. I've not used their tool. I don't know anybody who has. I have heard of them in a distant way. I can remember seeing their stuff out there, but I've never seen it in person before SEMA 2019. So I really couldn't see myself dedicating a video talking about a company I'm just not quite sure about. These things are tiny, they're compact. We're using 0.2 horsepower air motors with gear reduction designs that crank that up to a 0.4 horsepower motor on some of the tools. Some of the slightly bigger ones, like a long 7-inch cutoff wheel, which is still a compact design, uses like 0.9 horsepower motor. I'm assuming it's probably the gear reduction factoring in there as well, but that's a stronger design. So these could be pretty interesting to me. I'm considering picking some of them up. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd be interested in me picking these up and checking them out for a review. Something I should note here, when I talked to them at SEMA, most of the stuff was ranging between $190 and $300. Right now, when I'm filming this, there are Black Friday sales going on. They're down to like $120, $150 on a lot of the tools. That is far more reasonable. They are shipping out of the US out of a warehouse, and I believe it was Kentucky. So you will get them out of the US. You don't have to worry about the shipping lead times or customs holding things up. So that is nice to see. All right, folks, that's gonna wrap it up for this More Tools from SEMA 2019. I'm gonna have more yet tools coming up, some oddball weird stuff that I saw that I really didn't want to throw into this video, and also a couple of dedicated videos yet coming with more new stuff from SEMA 2019. Go ahead and drop the video a like if you found it interesting. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of these tools? Do you want to check out those little compact ones or that CRC parts washer? That thing was pretty nice quality for what it was. Go ahead and let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Get subscribed, keep up to date with all the SEMA 2019 content and the regular Hot Rod Hippie content. Thanks for coming around, folks.